Solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Texas. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We start getting texts for the show, about 5-10 minutes into the show. And I just got a text that I have got to start off the show with it. This is our first Tuesday of the month show, which we always do with Dr. Tim Uselton. He specializes in neuropathy. So Facebook and YouTube promote the show. So we got a text just now, and it's from Baltimore, Maryland. You just never know who's listening because we really promote this segment in the Texas market. But he said, neuropathy, I saw your advertisement that you're going to be doing a show this morning on neuropathy. I am in Baltimore. People do not understand how painful neuropathy is. And I don't think there's very many specialists around the country who understand neuropathy, but it sounds like your expert does. I cannot wait for the show. Let me welcome you to Dr. Tim Uselton. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, I looked at that text that came in and, Tim, you know how painful neuropathy is, and you hear it every day. I am so glad, and you're a chiropractor. You do so many different areas, especially when it comes to pain. But I'm so glad that you really concentrate on neuropathy because there's so many people walking around with it that don't even know what they have. And sometimes the doctors don't even know what they have.
That's right. And our experience, the whole reason why I became board certified back in 2018 was because of the fact that our patients were developing these symptoms, and their primary care providers were telling them there's nothing that can be done. They were writing them a prescription for a medication like a gabapentin, and they were saying, take this, and that's the best we can do for you. It may help a little. It'll help you cope with the problem, but it never fixes the problem. And then in my studies and in my board certification courses, we learned the cause of it is a lack of blood flow. We know blood flow brings that oxygen and nutrition to the nerves, and without the blood flow bringing oxygen and nutrition to the nerves, then tissue dies, and it starts with the nerves. That's why it's in the feet towards the toes. It's the furthest point away from the heart. And if you know the heart's bringing blood to every area and you start to have deterioration at the furthest point, it's because the blood's not getting there. And so there are things that can be done. It's not in the general PCP world to say, let's start with angiogenesis, a big fancy $2 word that means blood flow back to the area. So we promote all things that bring blood flow, which brings healing. We regenerate nerves, and we're getting very, very fantastic results as a result of this line of thinking towards bringing blood flow back to the nerves.
I got to tell everybody that this show has become so important to Ask the Experts. This is our 14th year. And I got to tell you, I went to Tim and I said, Tim, I got to replay your show. So I just want everybody to know, especially if you have a family member or friend who's got neuropathy, who's at work right now, you can actually go back and listen to the show on iHeart or YouTube, and then we replay the show in 2 weeks on Tuesday. You can actually watch this show or listen to the show again. Tim, this person wanted to know what, how can you help somebody who's Baltimore, Maryland's very far away?
That's right. You know, it's a great question, and we start with the fact that for one, you don't have to attend the doctor's office and come in for therapy. There are some therapeutic therapies that we do here in the office that you cannot do at home that really bump up the results, and so we're getting the best results on the people that actually do make it into the office, and they get on our combined electrochemical therapy machine, which brings in a vast amount of B vitamins and increased blood flow with that angiogenesis we talked about, that new blood flow, and it really does promote the healing of the nerve tissue in the body. However, that being said, there are at-home therapies that we recommend as well, because when you have this degenerative condition, if you look up what degenerative condition actually means, it means that it gets worse over time. It doesn't suddenly wake up 10 years from now and, oh, it healed, it's better now. It doesn't do that on its own. If you let nature just take its course, it continues down the road of deterioration and more damage to the point that eventually, that's why people have amputated toes, because the nerves have died and been dead for so long that the tissue's rotting. And they say, you know what, it's going to go all the way up your leg if we don't stop it now. So they go ahead and cut their losses, meaning your toes. So the things that we do at home are more in the lines of rebuilding the nerves with some electrical machinery, some devices. We put LED and laser lights into the air. There are about 1,200 studies now, even published in PubMed.gov, which is the gold standard of clinical trials and studies and research, that show the LED with the laser light, if done at the right wavelength of a machine, can actually rebuild those nerves as well, and bring new blood flow back to the area. And then, of course, if you don't address the supplementation, the nutrition in the gut, you're defeating the purpose. Because if you back up all the way to what caused the lack of blood flow, which we know is the symptom we're treating, what caused that is inflammation in the body. And so if you're eating poorly, if you're that's why diabetics have such a higher rate of peripheral neuropathy, because when their blood sugar spikes, so does their inflammatory response. So the inflammation is like a fire in the foot. And if you don't put out the fire, then it's going to burn. But if you put out the fire, but the cause of that fire is your blood sugar spiking every day, then you need to address the nutritional component too. So that's kind of what we do on the at-home programs. We can't have you come in and eat all your meals in our office. So we're explaining to you what you should be eating, how you're going to decrease that inflammation through diet and nutrition and supplementation. And that's about probably 50-60% of the game right there. If you get that under control, if you can do things that rebuild the nerves and then bring the blood flow back into the area, then your chances of it not getting worse are super high, and your chances of reversing it are way better as well.
Sammy, I don't know if you can see in the chat line, someone wrote, do you help with inflammation in the body if you don't have neuropathy?
Absolutely. So inflammation in the body, again, it sparks up for all different causes, and we help with inflammation by bringing proper nutrition into the system. Now, sometimes you can do that through supplementation, which means you're taking a pill or a powder or a liquid. It's going into your stomach, and your stomach is breaking it down and dispersing all those healthy nutritional, things, vitamins, minerals, all those types of things. Or you can go directly into the bloodstream with an IV. We do IV nutrition. I'm sure people are listening to this and they've driven by the new things that seem to be popping up all over the place that say we have a hydration bar. And instead of you going in and ordering a drink, you go in and get an IV in your arm and you get fully hydrated. Well, then we can add components to that IV therapy, like glutathione, which is an anti-inflammatory, an antioxidant. We can add vitamin C, which is an antioxidant. We can add taurine and biotin and all these different things that you can't get in your diet through food necessarily. You got to supplement them, but they do a wondrous job of decreasing inflammation. And they actually do help heal the nerves. We know that nerves in our body regenerate over time. The evidence in that is if you ever have we've had patients that have gotten a nerve block. They're in such pain coming from
Yes.
the back that they go in and they cauterize the nerves in their back. And that lasts for a while. And then those same patients develop pain again, and they come back in and go, how can I have pain when they actually like severed the nerve? It should not be there. It's because it regenerates over time. And so that natural regeneration brings it back, and all of a sudden it's pinched again, and they have to go in and recauterize it. So nerves do regenerate. If we
Yes,
heal.
someone just wrote, can nerves be healed?
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely. They can be healed with proper blood flow, with proper nutrition, and with some therapies we know that have the result of rebuilding those nerves. There's actually a machine called the Nerve Rebuilder, and that's its sole design in therapeutic value, and the benefits to the patient is to rebuild the nerves.
Tim, you must have all the latest uh, equipment to handle neuropathy, because this is really where you've pushed your practice to.
That's right, and I have the signed lease agreement payments going out every month to prove it. We've probably invested a couple of $100,000, close to $250,000, in the equipment that can do it in the office, and then we keep a supply of the devices that we can give to the patients when they're out of town, or if they're traveling a lot and they say, I can't get into your office 3 days this week, I'm going to be on the road. And so we give them a device, and they use it twice a day on their own, in their hotel, in the comfort of their own home. And everything we're doing, again, it goes back to the main concept of angiogenesis, rebuilding that, creating something new that doesn't exist in the body. And it does take time. None of these treatments are going to be, I did this therapy once for a 20-minute session and I rebuilt the nerves. That's not the way it works. So it does take time, but we look forward 6 months, 12 months, 18 months into the future, and nearly 90% of our patients have reported some relief or some experience of.
Yeah, your success rate is amazing.
It is.
Did you see also, we're getting a lot of people writing, if nerves regenerate, do they regenerate in their original state or in a current state?
Okay, I think I understand the question. If nerves are regenerating, it's angiogenesis. It's brand new. It's a new nerve that is being formed, and so it is. It has the capability of being just that, brand new, like it was when you were a baby. However, if more closer to the spine, there's some sort of compression on the main branch of the nerve. The nerves coming out of our back are like a giant river. And then as it starts to feed the tissue, it breaks off into the smaller little creeks and tributaries and all the little tiny water supply that go to the land, if you can think about it like a river. And so when we're talking about in the foot creating brand new nerves, further upstream is a bigger river, like the sciatic nerve coming out of your back, going down the back of your leg. As it splits off, it's got different names, and we're regenerating all those teeny tiny little capillaries and blood flow that spark off these nerves to regenerate and rehydrate and get their myelin sheath covering them back so they conduct the electricity normally. So if there's a pinch in the system, as they're forming, they're already slightly suppressed. So that's why you have to just look more than just at the toe. If the problem's in the toe, maybe the pinch is coming from behind the knee or in the calf or in the sciatic nerve or in the back or in the SI joint or some other area further upstream. There's a problem, right? If you're dumping chemical into the river here and it gets to the water supply in this town 100 miles away, and you redo the town, but the stream way up here 100 miles away is still polluted, then it's going to eventually get back to the town. That's kind of the concept. When you
That makes sense.
here and it's pinched way up here, then obviously you're going to have to unpinch it.
If you're watching on YouTube, we're running Tim's phone number below. We will be, for those of you who listen on iHeart and radio and our other platforms, we'll be giving Tim's phone number out. Tim, I know you mentioned this. You know, people tend to like let things go and think, oh, it's going to get better, especially when they don't know what it is, or I don't have time to go to a doctor. Again, tell people, and we're not trying to scare you. This is what's so great about this show is we're educating you. Tell people what happens if they just let this go, Tim.
Yeah, it's a great point because we all have this feeling that we might be invincible or that it's not going to get worse for me. I'm different. But what we see across the board is that the people, no one wakes up one day and they decide to fall that day and have new symptoms that day and get on a walker that day. It's over a progression. They start to feel unsteady. They start to get numbness or tingling. It turns into sharp pains. They use a cane to assist them walking. Then eventually they're on a walker and they're putting all their weight on the walker. Then eventually they're no longer driving because they can't feel the pedals under their feet. And so it is a progression down this road of neuropathy that leads to eventually, if untreated and getting bad enough, amputation, right? And so way back in the process, maybe 10 years earlier, you go to your PCP and they say, here's this neurotonin, or you get the generic like a gabapentin or a Cymbalta, and you're on this medication and it's not letting the symptoms of that acute pain, numbness, tingling, burning make it to your brain. And so you think the coast is clear. I'm better.
Right.
Right. But if you fast forward to damage now for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and the person is getting an amputation, that person's been on gabapentin for 15, 20 years, and it did not fix the problem. The vast majority of people that have an amputation are on the medication that's supposedly treating their condition. So it's kind of the proof that it doesn't really fix it. It's like driving your car along and the check engine light pop on and you go, yeah, but I don't see smoke. It's good. Just ignore the warning. In fact, let me get out some tape and cover up my dash, right? And keep driving because now I no longer see that light reminding me there's a problem. That's like the pain med we take or the gabapentin. It just kind of covers it up, makes it go out of the way for a while, and we keep on wearing and tearing. We keep down the degeneration process, and then engine blows up and you go, oh, shoot, was there any warning signs? Yeah. And you covered it up for 10 years with tape on your dash over the check engine light. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to our
Yes.
viewers.
Somebody just wrote, if someone has gone through chemo for cancer and can't walk anymore, would this program help them walk again?
It's a great question. And that's a very good question because that's one of the causes of the neuropathy that we treat. So yes, the answer is yes. It does take time because chemo does a horrible job of wrecking healthy tissue in your body as well as getting rid of the cancer. When you take chemotherapy, you're weighing out the pros and cons. The pros are it could kill away the cancer and suppress it and slow it down. The cons are that it can damage healthy tissue as well and cause neuropathy because you're hurting nerves now by the chemo itself. And so in between rounds of chemo, we absolutely put real good nutrition, anti-inflammatory things, the antioxidants, all that nutrition and IV therapy that we can do. And then in addition, we go right to the source of that nerve problem. We try and rebuild the nerves. So it is a process. It does take time. Again, the chemo is pretty quick and it's damage, but the repair of the damaged nerves does take some time. So you got to be patient. You got to know that what we're doing is eventually going to create angiogenesis, which can take 6, 9, 12 months in people. It's never a 2, 3, 4 treatment, 2, 3, 4 week, 2, 3, 4 month therapy. Even it takes a while, especially when you're dealing with chemo-induced neuropathy.
Tim, it seems like a lot of the texts that we're getting people from out of Texas, which I'm surprised about, but that's how YouTube and iHeart, you can listen to it anywhere. But they saw our promotion of your show coming on, and a lot of them, again, want to know from a distance, is this done? Can it be done on virtual appointments?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can call the office and get on our appointment, and you'll be on our schedule just as if you're coming into the office. And at that time frame, if you have a 10 a.m. appointment, then someone from my team reaches out to you via like a video conference call, either through Zoom or sometimes it's just on the telephone if we can't get a person, if they don't have the technology or they don't have a laptop and they don't know how to use their phone like that. Because sometimes the generation of people that have neuropathy struggle with technology. I mean, I'm 52 and I struggle with technology sometimes. So the point is that we can do it via telephone through a telemedicine, or we can do it on a Zoom call where we can actually see the person. We can have them put the camera on their foot so we can see that it's discolored, that it's swollen. And we can go through and do a very thorough consultation with them and then come up with the recommendations and then ship to their house. We've treated patients from Dallas and California and Las Vegas, throughout Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, some on the East Coast. And then, of course, Texas is the size of a normal country. So when we say we treat all across Texas, well, Texas has 11-hour drives and you're still in Texas, right? So we're up in Dallas in the north part, and we have patients from San Antonio, from out in West Texas, Odessa, Midland area. And so, 5-6 hours. Some people want to try and figure out how to get to Dallas, and they're already planning a trip and they want to come see us, which is fine. But oftentimes it is done virtually.
Yeah, we just got a text from Conroe, Texas.
Okay.
Really enjoying the show. I'm going to be in Dallas in February. Would you mind sharing with us what other areas of pain do you treat?
Great question. Yeah, we're board certified in peripheral neuropathy and chronic pain, which means that we can go after pain anywhere in the body. Obviously my background as a chiropractor since 1996 has been the spine and very focused on the spine for all these years. But in 2013, we branched out and became a medically integrated office, which led to us getting board certified in neuropathy and chronic pain. Also, it opened up our practice to the space of regenerative medicine. So we do advanced therapies like advanced PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma for tissue regeneration. We do advanced treatments for the discs when a person has a bulging, herniated, ruptured, slipped, so to speak, disc that's compressed. We actually can decompress it by pulling those bones apart gently, and so that the disc kind of refills up with blood, and it makes that little cushioning in there better. We do all kinds of joint pains, whether it's knee pains, which is kind of the most common problem in people over the age of 45 is bad knees, which is an arthritic condition. We treat all types of arthritises. We treat simple sprain strain injuries from younger kids, athletes, golfers. We treat the firemen and the police officers in our area because they're always, deprived of sleep because they're up all night fighting a fire, or they're having to do PT, they're having to carry and haul heavy equipment, whatever the case may be. So we get strained backs. We had a guy who was putting out a fire overhead using an axe, and the roof collapsed on him, injured his back, injured his shoulder. So there's a very wide array of pains that we treat. But if we were to kind of narrow it down to the three main ones to keep it simple, it would be those problems that are caused by disc problems in the back between the vertebrae. The second one would be joint problems like arthritis, slip and falls, twisted ankles, pulled shoulders, anything related to a joint outside of the spine. And the third one would be neuropathy, which is damage to the nerve that's making it have numbness, tingling, pain, burning, coldness, that sort of thing.
Hey, Tim, can you treat pain for Dallas Cowboy fans?
Oh, we can. That's a tough one this season. That's a real tough treat. We need some training between the ears to get us to realize that they may never bounce back in the current state of things right now.
Tim, you know what I love about your practice? Think about all the people that you have treated that you kept them from having surgery. Because that's a lot of the things that you do.
That's exactly right. I mean, that is our motto. Our motto is we're a drug-free, surgery-free alternative to things that would otherwise just you're in line to get surgery. The Western medicine whole mantra, their motto, so to speak, and it's nothing against them, it's the way they were trained. But the way they do things is they start with a steroid shot. They start with oral pain medication. They then advance you to an MRI, and then you're in line for surgery. You've tried everything that they have to offer. And so then we kind of have broken that mold, and we say, well, what about regenerative medicine? What about PT? What about bracing? What about rebuilding nerves? All these different types of alternatives. And then people come in and they have to really make a mind shift, because one doctor over here for years has been telling them there's nothing that can be done, and
Right.
surgery, and how about a second surgery? I have patients that have had 6, 7, 8 surgeries, and they finally have realized they're not getting better with surgery. They're just getting more damage and scar tissue down the road. And so they finally say, I'm ready for a change. And we say, well, we may not can reverse everything that the surgery has done,
Right.
but we can definitely keep you from going to the next joint for another surgery.
Tim, tell people how they can reach your office.
Great. Yep. So the number's on the screen. If you're able to watch this, just simply call 972-478-5538. Or even better yet, our practice is called Trinity Integrated Medical. Trinity Integrated Medical. And that is our website, trinityintegratedmedical.com. trinityintegratedmedical.com. On there, you can fill out forms and get a consultation. You can schedule directly. You can read all about neuropathy and how we treat it, and a synopsis of what we've talked about here today, how we avoid surgery. You can also find the number there. You can find email and contact us page. You can fill out forms. We've tried to make it third grade simple on how to find us and get into this stuff. My name is Tim Usselton. You can Google Tim Usselton and you can find my YouTube page, which will then show you countless videos of all of the things that we do and what we try and offer people. You can read 200 5-star reviews about our clinic. You can find all that on Google, and it's tried to make it really simple for folks to find us. We are located north of Dallas, Texas. Yeah.
Tim, we are so blessed to have you. Happy New Year to you. This show will be rerun again in 2 weeks, and Tim's with us every month. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. My pleasure.
God bless. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.